Okay, hello people. This video probably won't appeal to a lot of people other than guys that are in possession of a older Harley. In other words, in my case, a 1999 FLHT, the dresser, and pulling the codes on these things. If you don't have a scanalyzer, the factory tool, which I don't think you can get that unless you work for the dealership. You won't have that. And the blink codes, you can bring up the blink codes by yourself, and the problem here is that a lot of guys are reading about the turn the ignition switch on for 3 seconds, off for 3 seconds, then back on for 3 seconds, and then back off for 3, and then turn it back on again, and you should get a blink code. Now the problem with that is that that doesn't work all the time, and a lot of times if you have more than one code, it'll go into diagnostic mode, but the light will stay on, indicating that you have more than one trouble code. So, this being a 1999, let me turn this around, get my ugly face off of there. This being a 99 carbureted twin cam, and I do believe this may apply to more years than just a 99. The ECM, or you can call it what you want, it's CDI ignition unit, or a CDI control unit, an ECM, which is this piece right here on the right hand side of the bike, and I think the years might be from 98 to 2003. Now also the later models will have where you push your odometer reset knob, which is right here. You push that in to get the blink codes start working. That will not work on this because that button is just for resetting. It's nothing more than a cable going to the speedometer. So in order to bring up the blink codes, to find out what codes you have, what you need to do is you need to take the diagnostic connector, which will have this rubber plug in it. It'll be over here on the right hand side by the ECM or CDI, whatever you like to call it, and you need to jump out terminal 1 and 2. If you've got a factory manual, it'll show you 1 and 2, but also it'll be the green wire with a red tracer to the black wire. So that's what you're jumping out, and all I use is an alligator clip, one of these. So, you know, you go across the 2 pins and jump it out. Now, all you have to do after that is turn on the ignition. And let me see if I can do this without getting a lot of... Hang on. Hi, Ripley. Yeah, I know you got 2 balls. I'll play with you in a minute. Hang tight. Okay, that isn't... Okay, that's much better. You turn that on, and you will see the red light on the speedometer come on, and it starts flashing fast. Now, that means it's going in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it'll pause. 1. Okay, so now a quick one again. Going to the next code. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now it'll repeat itself. The fast blinking is just in between codes. So it'll go back and it'll do the first code again, then the second code, or, you know, if you have 3 or whatever, when it gets done doing the diagnostic, it quits, it goes back to the first diagnostic, and it'll keep doing that. So now that we know we've got a 41 and a 44, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was right. What we got to do here is we got to look at a sheet, and you can get on the internet. It's kind of hard to find. Not very many people have this anymore. And you need to find the code definitions of what you've just done. So let's see here. We're into the 40s. So, okay, 41 blink code is the crankshaft position sensor. I've already replaced this one time about, oh geez, it had to be 8-9 years ago, maybe more. And then what was the other one? 44, which is the bank angle sensor. Oh, goddamn, my head is right in there. And the page it gives you is in reference to the factory shop manual, so that you can get in there and see where it is and how to replace it or whatever. All these codes mean something, and this is where you go first, making sure that the wiring to these things is not improper. Now, the thing here is that the codes usually do, let me take my jumper off, okay, and basically the unit itself is probably what's going to go wrong here. Now, with this bike, this has been sitting for about 8 months because I kind of quit riding because I had a problem with my eye and I needed surgery on it. So I could still see fine with glasses and everything, but I needed surgery to have a new lens put in. In other words, I had a cataract, and I didn't feel safe enough on the bike to see everything in the road in front of me, you know, even with the glasses on. So I just decided I'd pickle the bike, even though I did start it like every other week, and let it run. Now, I've gotten the go-ahead. I've had surgery. I've gotten the go-ahead that in another week or so, you know, I can ride, and it's still too hot out here really to go riding. But I took the bike off of the lift, and I started it up and let it run. Well, it ran for about 5 minutes, and then it died. And I started messing around, you know, doing diagnostics, checking for spark, no spark, you know, checking for compression, making sure the engine was turning over properly, battery voltage, wires to the battery, all the common things that you would check ahead of time. Now, after doing that, I messed around with the ECM, the CDI unit, whatever, and I moved the wires. By now, the bike had cooled down enough or whatever, and it fired up again. So I figured, okay, fine, let me clean those plugs up. And I finally got the connectors out of that. All the pins were clean, everything was great, so I put a bunch of dielectric grease in there, plugged it back in, and again, it fired for a couple minutes, and then it died again. So, and it really didn't fire well. So I did the diagnostic code routine, which I don't usually go for diagnostic codes right off the bat because it's usually something simple like a ground or, you know, loose battery terminals, anything like that. And then I found out, well, okay, we've got a crank sensor, which, okay, I can live with that, even though this one is a real pain in the ass to do. But kind of amazing that this went bad. Now the bank angle sensor, which is also a tip-over switch or a roll-over switch in a car, you know, anytime the bike goes into a more than, I think, a 45-degree angle, or yeah, I don't know, whatever the angle is where you're about to fall down and shuts the engine off. So I took that loose and I kind of shook it around, and then I unplugged it and, you know, listened to it, and it seemed like everything internally was good. You can't see inside of them. So I put it back on, and that code may be erroneous. Now, the bank angle sensor for this thing is no longer available, new. So basically I got one on eBay. I ordered it anyway just in case. The crank sensor is new. I ordered that on eBay as well, and I've got them both coming. So the problem is, of course, now you know, I need these here to confirm the diagnosis and everything else, and go from there. But there you go. This is how you do the blink codes. This is how you diagnose. And for anybody that you know, I mean, I really don't want to get in a low bar and write all these codes down, because they also affect fuel injected bikes. They might, I don't know if this is oh, what is it, Magneto Morelli, I think is the name of the ignition system, but I don't know if this one has that, or if only the fuel injected do. But the blink codes are the same for the early models, so a lot of these codes are for fuel injected, which 99 had both. They had carbureted and fuel injected. So, and I think a few earlier Evos did too. But look, I've been out of the Harley repair business for well over 25 years now, except for my own bike. So, yeah, I'm not really up on all the intimate details. So there it is. I hope that helps somebody. And by the way, the crank sensor on this one, and I think most of them are, Christ, you can't even see it, but that oil filter, that silver oil filter there, which is a reusable one, that has to come out, and the crank sensor is under that filter, and then the wiring harness that attaches to the crank sensor runs all the way down the lower frame, all the way this way, and then up into here, and then up under the seat, up into there. So it's not a fun job to do. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody, and we'll let it go there, and maybe I'll do an update after I get the parts, which should be the end of this week, hopefully, and I'll get it running. And I'm in no hurry right now. Like I said, it's still too hot to ride right now, or at least for me it is. So there it is. All right, later on, man. Bye.